Well, the future of two Wisconsin battery manufacturing plants is kind of up in the air.
Local and national labor union representatives say Energizer is planning to close its Portage and Fenimore plants, but Portage city leaders say that may not be the case.
NBC 15's Marcus Arsvold joins us with more on this live in the studio.
And Marcus, the Portage mayor says the city is doing all it can to keep the plant open.
John and Lee, Portage Mayor Mitch Craig says negotiations are underway and it's too soon to say whether or not Energizer will close their Portage and Fenimore plants. Mayor Craig wouldn't go on camera today, but talked with me on the phone. He says he's working with Governor Tony Evers' staff and Energizer Corporate to ensure the plant stays in Wisconsin. Right now, he says there's a lot of gray area and, quote, there's nothing confirmed that they are closing the plant, but there's nothing confirmed that they're staying open either, end quote. We also received a statement from Energizer's corporate communications saying they're communicating with union representatives. It says in part, quote, we will continue to focus on our colleagues, the people closest to this issue and who matter the most as we work toward a final resolution, end quote. The National Teamsters Union organization says they represent 600 Wisconsinites who work for Energizer and could lose their jobs. In a statement, Teamsters says Energizer told their organization, quote, it plans to close the plants in Fenimore and Portage in the next 12 to 24 months, providing few details or information about the planned closures, end quote. I spoke to union workers at the Portage Battery plant who say they're frustrated by the uncertainty. No one would speak on camera, but workers worry they'll need to start looking for new jobs. It started a month ago when rumors that the plant would close started circulating. I spoke to the mayor back in December when these rumors started, and he said based on communication with Energizer, he felt more confident the plant wouldn't close at that time. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsvold, NBC 15 News.